Unfortunately, the Commonwealth of Kentucky is currently faced with the greatest challenge that we've seen in the last half century, and that's our public pension liability. Now, we can point the finger at a lot of different entities in determining how we got to the point where we are. And where we are currently is a $40 billion liability that the taxpayers of Kentucky are faced with funding. So that's quite unfortunate. We can spend a lot of time placing blame, but we need to start looking out the windshield as opposed to looking in the rearview mirror. Once we've corrected these assumptions and once we've made the structural changes that are necessary to correct this problem, we're going to have to find additional revenue. And that's the great challenge. Where are we going to find this additional revenue? We can't go to Joe taxpayer and ask him to pay more in taxes, particularly if he's not getting a pension himself and we're asking him to pay more taxes so someone else can have a pension. That's not fair. So we have to be careful in our approach on how we identify an adequate revenue stream to help us dig our way out of this huge liability that we're currently faced with. Now, I would suggest that we need a fair tax code. I think we can craft a fair tax code that will create more revenue and yet not encumber those that are currently paying the bill. CERS is self-sufficient, self-sustaining. We appropriate no money to the CERS plan. As a matter of fact, the CERS plan, some would argue, subsidizes the KRS plan. 2/3 of the people covered under the KRS plan are actually CERS employees, and 75% of the assets in the KRS plan are actually CERS assets. So it really makes no sense that CERS should be part of this problem. CERS has always made the full actuarially required contribution, contrary to what we've done here in Frankfort for the KRS plan. So if we let CERS go their own way, be self-sustaining, and I think they certainly are astute enough to do this, then that will give us the opportunity to have that laser focus on the KRS plan, and in particular the KERS non-hazardous, which is the real plan that is in real peril, the plan that is only 13% funded. That will give us the opportunity as legislators and the executive branch to put that laser focus on that one plan and shore it up without being encumbered by including CERS and all of those employees along the way. Have the inviolable contract. And I think that is certainly an insurance policy for them. If you're currently retired, from my perspective, I really don't see much change, if any, in your situation. If you're currently employed, there are some things outside of the inviolable contract that could be changed, but I don't think they would be catastrophic for anyone that's currently employed. Will the landscape look different for new hires? Certainly. That's where we're going to have to make the most comprehensive changes. That will have the least effect on the current situation. It won't be an immediate improvement to the situation, but long term it certainly will. So in the interim, we're going to have to identify some type of additional revenue to appropriate to the systems to keep it afloat. But again, I go back to the fact that if we could separate CERS from KRS, that's one challenge that we've removed from this conversation. And again, I think from a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. I know that causes some angst with folks that are in the KRS system, but they shouldn't see it that way. They should see it as them getting all of the attention now. They should see it as their opportunity to have that laser focus from those in the General Assembly and those in the executive branch that they haven't had before.